Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud9 here, and I'm here to bring you guys a new One Piece manga 696 prediction. And after a few weeks, finally, the new chapter of One Piece came out. I didn't really feel super One Piece deprived, though, because we did get a few things of One Piece here or there over these few weeks, because we got the One Piece movie Film Z, which was straight up amazing, even though we didn't necessarily get it in, like, full form. We only got a raw version. I still was satisfied to get something, just to be able to at least see the visuals of the movie and see the epic fights, which definitely there were epic fights. I mean, Film Z to me was what I expect from New World. I mean, I love that movie. I definitely am looking forward to when it's finally fully released on the internet and it's subbed so I can rewatch it and actually see and understand everything that's going on in the film, because the fights were epic and all the scenes I really enjoyed. But this week's chapter of One Piece definitely did not disappoint. I mean, first time I read it, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't really care for the chapter that much, but after rereading it on Manga Stream, I actually liked it a lot more than I did the first time reading it, because this week's chapter, the main purpose it served was pretty much to give the other Straw Hats, some of the weaker members of Straw Hat, I guess you could say a little bit more of a shine in the limelight. We actually get to see, of course, Frankie. Frankie actually went in. He was fighting, of course, Baby Five in Buffalo. Of course, Baby Five, she actually transformed into this like sickle-like thing, and I was actually surprised that she was actually able to cut into the General Frankie a little bit, because we all know that's supposed to be made of like Wapo metal, I think it is, and Wapo metal obviously is a lot stronger than regular metal, like regular steel metal or whatever. So it took me a little bit off, or took me a little bit by surprise when we actually saw that. But of course, Frankie, he was throwing Baby Five and Buffalo around like they're pretty much nothing, which could be taken as a positive or negative. On the negative aspect, you think this is New World. I expect more from some of these villains, to see a little bit more. But at the same time, I do like the fact that Frankie is, really showing off what he's got, and he's really improved a lot since the time skip. So I don't mind it too much this particular time. And of course, we saw more of actually Nami and Usopp. I would say they probably were more of a major focus of this week's chapter, because they finally escaped out of the tunnel where the lab was at. Law and of course Luffy and the rest of the gang, the Marines, all that stuff. And of course, on upon coming out, they see Frankie, Buffalo, and Baby Five. And of course, the Law, all he's got on his mind is we got to catch Caesar. We got to catch Caesar. We have to stop all these guys. And he's getting ready, of course, to go ahead and pull out his sword and do his little room. But then Luffy's, or no, not even Luffy, Usopp pretty much just says, what, I got this. And Law is pretty much doubting Usopp, doubting Nami, because Nami and Usopp pretty much, they feel like they got it covered. And it takes Luffy to pretty much say, well, Usopp said he's got it, he's got it. So I actually like seeing Luffy actually kind of in a sense like take a little bit more of a leadership role in this alliance, because it kind of seems like he's just been kind of taking a back seat, letting Law do everything. But you can see he's sticking up for his crew members, because obviously he cares about these guys, and they mean a lot to him. And even Zoro says, hey, they got this, let's Usopp do his thing. So of course, Usopp, he pulls out his Kabuto, and he's getting ready to go to town. He even has I think he does something where I think he like waters it or something. I know a lot of people, there's like a theory out there that his Kabuto is now some kind of plant, which I'm actually really starting to think now, because a lot of his particular moves that he used in this week's chapter seem to come straight from the Kabuto. Of course, the move that he used is pretty much, there's these plants that come out of it and start chewing up metal or whatnot. So Baby Five and them are kind of struggling with Usopp when it comes down to him using his moves. But to me, what it seems like actually what took out Baby Five and Buffalo was actually Nami, which actually surprised me a little bit, because I didn't expect Nami to do that. I mean, Nami doesn't really seem that strong to me, but she actually showed off a pretty interesting move, a pretty good move this week. So, definitely have to give Nami some props, because she uses this move called Weather Egg, where she throws this pretty much this ball that has these, of course, these thunderclouds inside of it, and it breaks open, and this huge thundercloud spreads across the sky and pretty much zaps down a bolt of lightning. And of course, that hits Baby Five and Buffalo. Now, I mean, it didn't kill them. I mean, you'd think a bolt of lightning would kill them, but it didn't necessarily kill them. But it did knock them out, or at least render them or make them immobilized. Of course, Caesar, he's trying to go in and try to fight. He actually got up, and we're all thinking like, or at least when I was reading it, I'm thinking like, oh Lord, what's Caesar about to try to do? But then we see, of course, Usopp, actually quickly takes him out using some C cuffs, which surprises me because I'm thinking like Usopp taking out Caesar Clown. I mean, before he struggled against Caesar Clown, now he's actually doing it. So again, I mean, I'm having more respect for these characters in terms of strength because I'm thinking like, okay, Usopp actually beat a Logia type. Granted, it was through C cuffs, but at the same time, still though, I mean, I am glad to see Usopp, Frankie, and Nami actually doing more and showing that they're actually a valuable members of the crew. Because before you look at it, like at least the way I used to look at it, especially with Nami, her only importance in the crew is navigations, but she actually can do little things here or there to actually help out in the crew. I mean, of course, we've seen her do stuff back in Paradise. We've seen her fight against people like Khalifa or whatnot. But I mean, I feel like she's a lot better compared to how she was prior to the time skip. So I have a little bit more respect for the character in terms of strength. Now, of course, Luffy, he points this out to Law, and he's just like, yeah, told you my crew, could do stuff. A bit surprised, and Law's just like, yeah, yeah. And the cliffhanger probably was, I'd say, one of the more exciting things about the chapter, although I don't even know where to begin about it because we see a shadowy figure sitting in the water talking about, I think he said something along the lines of, am I in Punk Hazard, or, like, where am I? Am I by Punk Hazard? Because I'm like, honestly, I mean, I really don't know who that could be because obviously I don't think that's Doflamingo. It couldn't be Doflamingo. It doesn't even look like Doflamingo. Why would Doflamingo just randomly be sitting in the water when obviously he's supposed to be on his way? So I don't know. I'm wondering what Oda's actually gonna go ahead and do with that character. Is that character a completely new character, which I'm actually kind of assuming it probably is a completely new character. I'm like maybe on the way to Punk Hazard, Doflamingo's going to come across him and maybe talk with him a little bit or something, and then we'll finally see who this particular person is. But I do think that Oda left it on a good note. As far as the flow of the chapter, to me, the flow of the chapter was actually pretty good. It didn't really feel slow in any parts. I mean, I did think we were going to see Doflamingo, but I do think that it's good that Oda's actually saving Doflamingo a little bit for, a few chapters probably down the line. So I mean, Punk Hazard right now is picking it up slightly to me. At least in this chapter, picked it up a little bit. Because a lot of you guys probably out there already know that I'm not really a big fan of this arc, but I definitely am interested in seeing who this shadowy figure is at the end. So I like how this is going right now. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Definitely have to say once again, Film Z was an awesome movie. I do want to see more of that, and I hopefully I hope that the series actually starts to pick it up as a whole, and we start to see some crazier villains like Z, maybe in the actual story rather than just seeing it in the movie. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to rate this video. So if you liked it, please put a thumbs up, and if you didn't like it, you can put a thumbs down. The choice is yours, guys. Also, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content and you would like to see more. Anyway, thank you for watching.